Hello, friends. Welcome to Science Talk. I am your host, Jim Massa. Want to, in this video segment, kind of do a recap of CO2 levels as it relates to humans. So basically, CO2 levels right now are higher than at any other point in human history and prehistory as well. In fact, from where our ancestors came from, the world that they lived in, it was a low carbon world, and that actually helped nurture their evolutionary development. So, for the entire 2.5 million years of the Ice Age epoch that's called the Pleistocene, carbon levels were low, about 230 parts per million. That's in the atmosphere. So, this is the world in which Homo sapiens evolved into. They evolved in a low carbon planet, as did Homo erectus and most other human species, which have now gone extinct. But we have fossil evidence in Europe and Asia. It is estimated that at one point on this planet, there were 7 species of the genus Homo on the planet living at the same time. So, over this time period, the planet was able to stay cool and stable because of these low levels of CO2. And even after the onset of, discovery of fire, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, empires rising and falling, and the Industrial Revolution, levels stayed pretty much low. Only in 1965 did carbon dioxide levels pass 320 parts per million. But that was after what? At least a century, if not longer, of exploitation of fossil fuels. Coal, prime example, of course, oil, gas, and so on. And when you burn those items, you release the carbon that was trapped, contained within them, back into the atmosphere, and from there it can circulate around. By 2019, the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere had surpassed 410 parts per million. The estimation now is anywhere from 415 to 416, plus or minus, but it's still going up. So now think about this. 1965, it was 320, and in 54 years or so, it went up almost another 100. That's fast. So, and in that time, human activities, burning all fossil fuels, has raised planetary average temperatures by around at least 1 degree C. Indications are 1.4 now. At present rates, this average could reach 3 C by the end of the century. Again, that's an extremely conservative estimation. There are studies now indicating it could be a lot worse, as high as 9 or 10 C by the end of the century. Now, researchers have known for some time that humans evolved in a cooler world, and the way we're able to gather that is from looking at the fossils, looking at sedimentary rocks. The latest research pushes the detailed atmospheric carbon dioxide accounting back to at least 2.5 million years. Now we can ascertain that by looking at ice cores. Look at the O18, O16 isotopic fractionation ratios. Other evidence, you can look at C13, C12 in plant, N15, N14, etc. I did a very lengthy video discussing isotopic fractionation. If you have not seen that, please check it out, as well as my addendum explaining how the fractionation ratio is calculated. So the study was published in the journal Nature Communications, and what they did was they studied a pattern of carbon isotope readings preserved in the deep yellow soils of China's Lurs Plateau, Loess is a type of sediment, usually silt, a German word. What they found confirmed 800,000 years of annual evidence from the ice cores of Antarctica and Greenland, and further backwards in time. The windblown loess of China dates back to at least 22 million years, and each successive layer carries isotope evidence that can be basically read. And you read that and you recreate the atmospheric conditions in which those soils were deposited. The latest find confirmed that the normal state of the planet during human evolution was cool with low levels of atmospheric carbon. Homo erectus was the first known human predecessor to exploit fire, systematically fashion stone hand axes, and to migrate out of Africa towards Asia and Europe. So Dr. Yige Zhang, who was a geoscientist at Texas A&M University in the U.S., he worked with colleagues in Nanjing, China, and California Institute of Technology, and he basically states that according to this research, from the first Homo erectus, which is currently dated to 2.1 to 1.8 million years ago, we have lived in a low-carbon environment. Concentrations were less than 320 parts per million, which is the 1965 level. So this current high carbon dioxide experiment is not only an experiment for the climate and the environment, it's an experiment for us, for ourselves. Wow, that's a bit of an understatement, as well as an indictment, if you think about it. Basically, we're performing an experiment on ourselves that we don't know the outcome of which, but the outcome is most likely not to be good, and it's an indictment because we continue to foolishly proceed down this pathway. So there you have it. More data, more evidence to back up the fact that CO2 levels were much, much lower in the past, and in recent times, levels have started to increase dramatically. Thank you for your time. Hello folks, this is Jim here with Science Talk, asking you to please subscribe to my channel and to inform others of my channel and of the work that I do. Please share to social media platforms that you use. Also, as a reminder, don't forget to click the bell so that you know when I load up more videos. Finally, I ask that you support the work that I do by becoming a patron at patreon.com. Details in the description box below. Thank you for your support.